All right, everybody, if you are having some troubles with this stuff down here, then this video is for you, because I have noticed some people are having troubles with this stuff down here because they're actually having troubles with this stuff up here. And if you're like, what stuff exactly is up there? Well, check this out. I have seen many people struggle with things like this, and that they are getting the wrong answers to simplifying just expressions like this, simplifying 3 minus 8, negative 3 plus 8, negative 3 minus 8. Obviously, you can read, but I'm just saying you might have problems down here because of this. So let's not have troubles, okay? There are 3 things that we've talked about that I think you can, if you choose to, can go, all right, yeah, I can figure these out, which was money, which was insults, and which was a number line. Okay? So what am I talking about exactly? Well, let's go through, and we're going to run through these scenarios each. We're going to run through money, insults, and number line for all 3 of these, okay? So right here, the idea is that each of these, when you look at this, the number on the left is where you are beginning the story. So in this story, it's that, hey, you have $3, okay? And then it looks like the next thing that happens is that you lose or you give away $8. And I think we all get that, and that's why this is so simple, is that, hey, if you started with 3 and then you go down 8, you lose 8, well then, you must now have negative 5. And I do this where I'm like, if you're using your fingers to do this counting, that's okay for now. You would have 3 fingers up in the air, and then you start to take the fingers down and notice 3 fingers gone. I still have more fingers to go, and that is one big giveaway as to why this is going to be negative. And if you don't like the idea of like negative money, okay, I understand. Let's just pretend, that you are giving away money, not just that you're losing it. So then what's the overall situation? You have given away $5, okay? So I'm going to erase this because, like I said, we're going to do an insult. We're going to do money for each one. But let's just slide over and look through these scenarios each, kind of one at a time through each of those sets of glasses, through those eyes, right? So here we go. You are starting your story and that you've lost $3. Or maybe that you've given away $3. So, okay, we are down $3. But then you are about to gain $8. Again, I think we all get this, that, hey, you know what? I am now on the positive side of this. I have positive $5. If I gave away 3, down, 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 and then someone gives me 8, well, that's getting rid of losing that dollar, getting rid of losing that dollar, getting rid of losing that one. And then you were gaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how that goes, okay? Let's look at the last one. You are down 3, or you've given away 3. Guess what? You're going to give away 8 more. And now that maybe you're like, okay, I'm in the zone, I'm on a roll, thinking about like, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm going. So you're like, I've lost 3. If I'm going to lose 8 more, okay, I have lost 11 total, okay? So there's us looking at this through the lens of like money, all right? And by the way, 2 of these are going to be like, you can talk it out. The third one is there's talking involved, but it's definitely more visual. And in fact, these can be visual. It's just, are you doing that? Are you taking the time to think through it? You have to kind of go, okay, I care enough to do that. And maybe you do. It's just, there's a lot of things on your plate, right? So anyway, let's now talk about insults. So, hey, you wake up, you begin your day, and you're feeling positive 3. We didn't really talk about that on the money one because, with money and with things in life, if there's not a plus sign out in front of it, we know it's positive already. So you're feeling positive. You woke up, you're feeling good, you're feeling positive 3. You come downstairs for breakfast and realize that your little brother's there annoying you, bugging you, and he gives you 8 insults. Insults are generally negative, right? So that's why we think of insults as negative. And now you get this. You are feeling worse. You're feeling so bad, in fact, that you are now feeling -5. Right? Again, I think you get this. You just have to kind of take a moment and process it right here. You got a new haircut, and the first 3 people to talk to you told you they didn't like it. Okay, that's a bummer. But you know what? The next 8 people that saw you, they're nice, normal people, and they give you 8 compliments. So again, you started down, but then next is that 3 people took away those insults, and then they gave you 5 more. So you're feeling 5, you're feeling positive, you're feeling good, right? Right. Next, we have you're feeling negative already. Bummer. And then someone's about to give you 8 more insults. Or, if you want to look at it this way, they're removing 8 more good feelings from you. No matter how you look at this, it was bad, it gets worse. This is definitely worse. Feeling -11, I even though this is made up, none of you want to feel -11, right? Right. All right, so here comes the last one. We're going to do a number line version. Obviously, you can see I've gotten 2 number lines written already, or maybe it's not obvious to you. Here's what I want you to do. Take the time to draw a number line. Draw a big number line. Take as much time as you need. Do this processing. I promise it will be better for you than if you just go, I'm not going to really think this through. One thing that I want you to add that maybe you haven't considered to add before is negative on the left, positive on the right, because that's generally how we think of it, right? And not just generally how we think of it, that's how number lines work. So you start the story at 3. Well, that's going to be here. And you know what? What if you don't put those dashes? What if you don't count and you just put a 3 there? You can do that, right? So, and if you're like, wait, what a second, weren't we doing this? No, we're doing this one right now. We're going to do this one here, this one here, this one down here. Okay, great. So you're feeling 3. You've got 3. You're going to move in the negative direction 8. Well, check this out. What we're going to do is move. You can count by ones if you want. 2, 1, 0. You could do that. I don't want to do that. I would rather you think big. Think in bigger steps. I'd rather you just go all the way to 0. And what just happened is you just subtracted 3. And you know that 3 is not equal to 8. You need to keep going. At this point, you can now count by ones if you'd like. -1. That was 1. -2. That was 2. -3. That was 3. -4. That was 4. -5, that was 5. And if you're like, why are we saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Because check this out. If we move 5 and 3, that is 8, right? And where did we land? We landed at -5, which we had already said that. In fact, I forgot to erase it so that we could kind of start fresh. I'm telling you, if the money part... it's off the screen. If the money part and the insult part aren't working for you, this guy right here works every time. You just have to be willing to draw it out and do that work. Okay. And then also, this is like a little helper to go, hey, I don't want to think a ton. Maybe you don't either. So let's try and speed it up if we can. So now we are doing this one right here, -3 plus 8. In fact, I'll write it next to it. -3 plus 8 is what we're doing here. Remember, this is going negative, this is going positive. Now, I kind of cheated in that I already had my number lines written down, but I think I drew this one for you, right? So, and it's a number line. You draw a line, you put some arrows on the end, a 0 in the middle, or somewhere between these 2 arrows, okay? we start at -3. Well, that's over here, right? And what we're going to do next is we're going to go in the positive direction, 8. So this direction is positive, and I believe you know that, right? So what we're going to do is just like the other one. You know what? I can travel from -3 to 0. That's a distance of 3. I don't think any of you are worried or troubled with that. But now we're going to travel 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we've traveled 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we land right here. And if you're like, but I don't know what that is. Okay, well, this is where we're going to count, right? Is that we have to finish the job. So here's what's happening. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So check it out. -3 plus 8. -3 plus 8 must be 5. Okay, so let's circle that. We'll put equals 5 here. Again, if you're like, okay, now I'm really bored, I'm so glad you're bored, because part of being bored is going, I really get this, okay? Next, -3 minus 8. Okay, let's do that right here. -3 minus 8. Again, we're starting at -3. We're starting right here. And where are we going to go next? We're going to go in this negative direction, or are we going to go in this positive direction? This tells us we're going to go negative direction. We're going to go this way. So let's do that. We can literally just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, now we'll just count. That's -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11. -3 minus 8 is -11, okay? And if you're like, man, I really don't want to do some of that work, or what if I have giant numbers? Let's go giant. So it's now -47 plus 84. That's ugly. That's big. Those are annoying numbers. Okay, here's 0. Here's -47. We're going to travel in which direction? The negative direction or the positive direction? We're going to go positive 84. So check this out. We are going to travel 47. And if you're like, Mr. Math, this is not helpful. Yeah, check this out. We just traveled 47. And what if we traveled 10? Well, guess what? We'd be at 10. And I'm pretty sure you can do this math in your head. 47 plus 10 is 57. And then if you go another 10, you're now at 20. And so I'll even write that 10. So check this out. Let me change colors here. 57 and another 10. That's, oh my gosh, it's 67. Yep, sorry. And then if we keep going, another 10. We're at 30, and we've gone 77. Oh no, we can't go another 10, or we'll be at 87. So all that means is you're at 77. So now, come over here. Let's change to red. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. So we were at 30. We'll check this out. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. And if you're like, that seems weird. We had a 7, and then we're going to end with a 7. Yeah, dude, we just did the math, okay? We went 47, 57, 67, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. We did it, okay? So if you really want to do this stuff, even if the numbers are big, you can do this. We could even do it with fractions. Let's not get into fractions right now. I probably spent a little too much time doing that one, but I'm just telling you, you can do this. And if you're like, why did we talk about this in the beginning? This is old stuff. You're right, to a degree. But it's because of the troubles we're maybe having here that we needed to talk about this. So let's talk about these troubles right here, because I don't think it's the troubles you're thinking of. Well, the first thing I do want to point out is that your job is to try and recognize that each of these is what they say they are. Like this is division because it's x over a 3. This is a bag of money divided by 3 people. We're all going to get $12, okay? This is multiplying. It's not 3 plus 5. It's I have 3 bags of money, and that happens to equal $12. This is, down here is where I don't think you're having trouble understanding what you're looking at. But what I'm saying is, you see that that's addition. You see that that's subtraction. Well, what if I changed it a little bit? What if I changed it to be 3 plus x equals 12? Are you okay with that? Is that still addition? And what about this? Negative 3 plus x equals 12. Is that still subtraction? So let's go back to this top section and let's just figure it out. So we are dividing by 3. How do you solve for that? You do the opposite and you multiply. So here, let me label that. We are multiplying, right? And you might be confused of like, why does that say division and that says multiply? Those are opposite of each other, okay? So what happens is the 3's cancel here, leaving us with x equals 12 times 3, which is 36. And here's how you can check yourself. 36 is what x was, right? Now we know what x is. We don't have to write x. And then it's going to be divided by 3. Does that equal 12? Yes. Yes, it does. So we're done with that. Let's go over to this multiply one. 3 times x, 3 plus x, 3 minus x. If there's nothing in between here, they're trying to tell you that these are multiplying, okay? What's the opposite of that? It's dividing. So in fact, just like I did a second ago, let me write that. We are dividing now because it's the opposite of multiplication. That's how you undo it. And what happens is the 3's cancel out, giving us x equals 12 divided by 3, which is 4. We can check our answer. 3 times the 4 we just got equals 12, question mark? Well, yes, 12 equals 12. We are happy about that. One thing I want to point out is that these two guys kind of look similar in their approach. There's a 3 on top, there's a 3 on top, there's a 3 on bottom, there's a 3 on bottom. This hopefully makes you think of multiplying by the reciprocal. And if you're like, multiply by the reciprocal, yeah, if we had 2/3 x equals 12, you could divide by 2/3 because these are multiplying. You could do that. Or you could say, you know what, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. What's a reciprocal? It's the flipped upside down version of this fraction. Reciprocals, reciprocal. If I had the reciprocal of 2/3, well, we've already seen it here. It's 3 over 2. If I have the reciprocal of 1/3, that's 3 over 1 or just 3. And if you're like, does it always involve a 3? No. If it's negative 8/7, the reciprocal of that is negative 7/8. And guess what? You can also go backwards. If you have 3 over 2, the reciprocal is 2/3. If you have 3 or 3 over 1, the reciprocal is 1/3. If you have negative 7/8, the reciprocal is negative 8/7. You get the idea. So what happens is that now these 3's cancel, these 2's cancel, leaving us with x. And here you need to multiply with fractions. Don't like doing that? Okay, got bad news for you. It's on the easy side. It's 12 over 1 because any whole number can be written over 1. In fact, any number can really be written over 1. And when you multiply fractions, you go straight across. 12 times 3 is 36. 1 times 2 is 2. And you could simplify this further to say that x is really 18, because if you divide both of these by 2, you get 18 over 1, which is just 18. Okay? That's multiplying by the reciprocal. And if you're like, wait a second, but I thought you said we could divide. Yeah, we could. Remember what happens when you divide by a fraction? A lot of you like call it KFC, keep, flip, change, keep, change, flip. I don't know. Here's what you do. You will end up changing that division into multiplying, and you will change this 3 over 2. You flip it into its reciprocal. And then we did that right here. You just multiply straight across. Actually, I guess technically we did the opposite of that because I did something else. I wrote down the wrong thing. Whatever. This is what happens. If you want to divide, you're actually going to end up multiplying by the reciprocal. So back to this. Addition and subtraction ones. Your job is to notice that, hey, this x is being added by 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides, and I get x equals 9. And if you're like, but what about the other one? Well, the other one, this 3 right here is adding to this x. So we're still going to subtract by 3, and we get that x equals 9. These are the same, okay? They're the same. They're the same. Just because it's in a different order doesn't mean that they're different problems, right? Same thing over here. X minus 3. You pretty clearly see that that's subtracting 3, and we do the opposite in order to get rid of that 3, and we get x equals 15, right? Right. And if you're like looking at this one going, but that's adding, so I should subtract, right? No. The x is positive, the x is positive. The 3 is negative, the 3 is negative. So we are going to add, you almost said it, almost said subtract. We're going to add 3 to get x equals 15 still, because these are the same also. So hopefully you are recognizing what's going on here. Hopefully you are saying, all right, I can do this, because I know you can do this. If you are stuck, please talk to me. We need to get you unstuck.